Deterrence AI, the leading blog in proactive security.
Welcome to the deep dive. It's like everyone wants to quickly grasp something like important tech, security tech in this case, without drowning in jargon, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we're doing. Deep dive today, LoRa. It's making waves, real impact in security.
Yeah, we've got some fascinating stuff. Real world LoRa, how it's being used, not just theory, actual security solutions.
Yeah.
Working, different sectors, Australia, globally.
LoRa, when you think about it, it's a really neat solution. When you hit the limits of typical security systems,
Yeah.
you need to cover a lot of ground, literally. Long distances, but power's an issue. You can't have wires everywhere.
Right.
That's LoRa's sweet spot: low power, wide area networking, LPWAN.
Yeah.
Range without draining the battery.
Exactly. Our sources, they really highlight that. LoRa fills this gap, this need.
Yeah.
So today, pulling out those key insights, LoRa for security, but tangible, measurable ways. Real-world examples, results if we can. Different industries, too.
Okay, so first things first. LoRa, we hear it. What is it at its core?
Basically, LoRa, it stands for long range, is all about how you send those radio signals, the fundamental radio tech. The clever bit is it uses chirp spread spectrum modulation.
Okay.
Imagine like a bird, its song, the pitch is always shifting. That's what makes it resilient. Cuts through noise, travels further, less power, really resists interference.
Like a tank of some super whisper, but over vast distances.
Yeah, exactly.
And it uses like free airwaves, right?
Right.
No license needed.
Precisely. These sub-gigahertz ISM bands, in Australia around 915 megahertz, no license fees, big plus. Now there's a trade-off.
Okay.
Data speed, it varies, 0.3 to 50 kilobits per second usually. Depends on the spreading factor. Higher spreading factor, more range, but less data per second.
Got it.
So LoRa security applications, it's always this balanced range versus data needs.
Okay, that's LoRa, the signal. But then there's LoRaWAN, right? They seem to always be together.
Right. LoRaWAN, think of it as the software layer on top of LoRa, open standard. How devices talk on a LoRa network. The structure, it's called Star of Stars. Lots of devices, sensors, trackers, they all talk to gateways, central points. These gateways then, they use internet IP to talk to a central server.
Right.
Manages the whole network, simpler that way. Important thing with LoRaWAN, two-way communication.
Okay.
Not just sending data out, but devices can receive too, commands, updates, adds to the security aspect.
Makes sense. And security of LoRaWAN itself, is it designed to be secure?
Security's built in, core of the spec, essential for these applications, of course. AES 128 encryption, end-to-end, very strong. Then you've got OKA, over-the-air activation, when a device joins, like exchanging secret codes before you talk, make sure it's the right device. Mutual authentication.
I see.
Two keys used, one for the network, like making sure the mail gets delivered to the right address.
Okay.
The other key, it's like the code to open the mail, read the message, that's your application data, encrypted separately.
Got it.
Then frame counters, like numbering the messages. Someone tries to replay an old one, network knows, ignores it. So really a strong security framework overall.
Sounds thorough. But how does LoRa compare to, the other wireless stuff we know? Like for security, you might use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, even cellular. Where does LoRa fit in?
Great point. Each has its strengths. Range, that's where LoRa shines. Huge areas like 15 to 20 kilometers rural, 2 to 5 urban. Compare that to 300 meters outdoors, less inside. Bluetooth, like 100 meters max.
Right.
Cellular, LTE-M, it can cover wide areas, depends on the network. But LoRa, it works where cellular often struggles. Remote places.
Makes sense. Power consumption, that's got to be huge for security, remote sensors, batteries.
Absolutely. LoRa's designed for ultra-low power. We're talking years on a single battery. Huge for those hard-to-reach sensors. Wi-Fi, cellular, much higher power draw.
Yeah.
Bluetooth LE, it's low power, but again, the range is limited.
So LoRa, it's the king of long-range, low power. But data, how much can it send?
That's where the trade-off comes in. LoRa's data rates, 0.3 to 50 kilobits per second. Fine for sensor readings, locations, but not for high-bandwidth stuff. Video, for example. Wi-Fi, hundreds of megabits, even gigabits per second.
Right.
Bluetooth LE, up to 2 megabits. LTE-M, about 1 megabit. So, LoRa, it's not about constant video feeds. It's about sending those crucial bits of data reliably over long distances using minimal power. That's its strength.
Different tools for different jobs. And security-wise, the other technologies, how do they handle security built in?
So Wi-Fi, you've got WPA2, the newer WPA3, strong encryption. Bluetooth LE uses AES CCM, secure pairing. Cellular, it leverages all the security built into mobile networks. And as we said, LoRaWAN has its AES-128, mutual authentication, message integrity. Different methods, but all have security tailored to their typical use cases.
Makes sense. Last piece of this puzzle, then, most common uses for security, each technology.
LoRa, it excels at those wide-area sensor networks, asset tracking over distances, perimeter protection, wherever range and low power are key. Wi-Fi, it's your local video surveillance home or office. Smart home gadgets on the local network. Bluetooth LE, that's more for short-range sensors, wearables, access control, stuff that works when you're nearby. Cellular, LTE-M, good for tracking moving things across big areas.
Yeah.
Alarm systems, that guaranteed backup connection.
Yeah.
LoRa, you see, it really carves out its niche. It's about those specific security scenarios where nothing else quite does the job.
Okay, fundamentals down. Let's get practical now. LoRa in action.
Right.
Start with something we all know, smart homes. How's LoRa changing home security?
It's interesting how LoRa tackles some of the inherent issues with, traditional smart home security.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. Wi-Fi gets crowded.
Yeah.
Bluetooth, limited range, especially outdoors. And battery life. Constant change. It's a pain.
Huge pain.
LoRa's different. 5 kilometers range, urban, penetrates walls better too.
Wow.
And the power, low power sensors lasting years. Some claim 2 decades on one battery.
20 years. That's wild. So what devices are using this?
Smart locks are one area. Companies like LockMaster, Access Control Pro, they're integrating LoRaWAN. The cool thing is, LoRaWAN often runs separately from your home internet.
Right.
So Wi-Fi's down, your smart lock still works. Huge security plus. And visibility itself deterring burglars.
True. Yeah.
Or it's a cost-effective way to extend that security perimeter around your property.
Always on. That's a game changer. What else? Practical examples. Stuff people are using.
Yolink, they've got an outdoor motion sensor, quarter-mile range. Imagine that, extending your security way out.
Wow.
Driveway alerts, intruder detection long before they're close. Reliability of LoRa, that long battery life, peace of mind. And because LoRa lets different devices talk, sensors, alarms, you can build a more integrated system. Even AI potential here.
Oh, interesting.
AI analyzing the data. So you're looser, smarter. Distinguish a pet from a person, for example. Data for 2025 is still coming in, but the adoption rate suggests LoRa is becoming really successful in this area.
From homes to something very different.
Yeah.
Farms, agriculture, huge areas. That range must be perfect.
Absolutely. Farms, it's unique. You've got vast land, valuable stuff spread out, livestock machinery. Power and internet can be patchy at best. LoRa, with that range and low power, it's the solution.
Makes sense. So what are they using it for security-wise on farms?
A lot. Livestock tracking, big one. GPS trackers, LoRa-enabled. On animals, real-time location prevents theft, helps manage herds.
Right.
Farm equipment, tractors, harvesters, same thing. Deter theft, keep tabs on them. Remote buildings, barns, silos, vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
LoRa sensors, low power, detect entry. And even in the fields, greenhouses, intrusion detection, early warning. Stops crop damage, theft before it gets bad.
We even have some, Aussie examples here. Goanna Ag and Minco.
Right, they've got LoRaWAN networks here in Australia, smart agriculture.
Yeah.
Not all purely security, but the infrastructure's there, ready for it. Then smart paddock, they've got LoRa GPS ear tags, real-time livestock tracking.
Oh, cool.
FarmX, their use shows how reliable LoRa is. Vital for security, 24/7. And smart parks, this one's amazing. Wildlife tracking, conservation, they've got zones with zero poaching, thanks to LoRa. That's remarkable. GAO Tech, they're also promoting LoRaWAN for livestock specifically. That deterrent effect, monitoring wide areas. Same principle applies to farm theft.
Zero poaching. That's the dream. So from wide open spaces to inside buildings, smart buildings, what's LoRa's role there in safety, security?
Smart buildings, they have their own needs, right? Access control, surveillance, keeping people and assets safe. LoRa, it's got some unique strengths here. Penetrates deep into buildings, basements, thick walls.
So it doesn't get blocked as easily.
Right. Then scalability, LoRaWAN. You can have tons of devices, a whole network within a building. And of course, the energy efficiency, long-lasting batteries, no wiring nightmares.
Beyond just the obvious, alarms, does LoRa help with safety in other ways?
Indirectly, yeah. LoRaWAN is being used for all sorts of smart building functions. Monitoring energy, managing heating and cooling, lights, even tracking how people use spaces.
It's interesting.
Not directly security, but it contributes, right? Knowing how many people are inside during an emergency, that's vital. But direct LoRa security, we're seeing leak detection, early warning, prevents damage. Smart fire prevention, LoRa connecting smoke detectors, heat sensors.
Makes sense.
Then manage LoRaWAN solutions, another security layer. Stronger encryption, access control, real-time threat detection. Real-world deployments are showing that these LoRa-based systems are making smart buildings safer, more efficient.
From inside to the outside, perimeter defense. How's LoRa helping there?
Securing large perimeters, industrial sites, farms, infrastructure, it's a challenge, pure scale. LoRa, some great advantages here. That long range, you need fewer gateways, cost-effective.
Yeah.
And low-power sensors, put them anywhere. No power lines needed, constant monitoring, real-time alerts. Anyone tries to enter suspicious activity, you know instantly.
You mentioned some really cool stuff like systems that can spot drones. That's pretty sci-fi.
It is, and it's happening. Solar-powered systems, AI analyzing the data, LoRa sending the alerts, drone detection, it's becoming more important, especially sensitive locations.
Sure.
Plus, LoRa's good for asset tracking. Large properties, if something moves where it shouldn't, potential breach. And in noisy industrial environments, LoRa cuts through that interference, reliable communication. So yeah, perimeter defense with LoRa, you get coverage and cost effectiveness, hard to beat.
Keeping things safe in transit now. Logistics, supply chains, how does LoRa fit in there?
Oh, that's a big one. Logistics, so complex nowadays. Goods can be lost, stolen, tampered with. LoRa offers some powerful solutions that long-range tracking, low power for extended deployments, it's a perfect fit.
What are the main ways it's being used security-wise in logistics?
Real-time asset tracking, that's primary. LoRa devices, you stick them on goods, containers, vehicles, know where they are all the time. Prevents loss, optimizes the whole process.
Makes sense.
Anti-tampering, another one. LoRa sensors on cargo, they detect if it's opened unauthorized. Container breach, seal broken, instant alert.
Clever.
And for sensitive stuff, meds, food, that constant condition monitoring is vital. LoRa sensors tracking temperature, humidity, ensures quality throughout the journey. Having this constant eye, knowing instantly if something's wrong, it's a huge theft deterrent.
And we've got companies doing this already, right?
Oh yeah. GAO Tech, they've got LoRaWAN devices specifically for logistics tracking. Semtech, they're the company behind LoRa. They highlight MaxTrack, their system prevents cargo theft. Real success story.
I see.
Beluda Shipping, they're using Ytrack's LoRa platform for that cold chain monitoring, keeping those temperature-sensitive goods safe. Unibiz and Nex partnered for end-to-end tracking solutions, all LoRaWAN-based. And HivenQ, SenseGap, they show how private LoRaWAN can be used for real-time tracking within specific logistics operations. The tech is mature, it's being used, it's effective.
From moving goods to protecting nature, environmental monitoring, conservation. Seems less obvious, but just as important.
It is. And again, LoRa shines here. Huge remote ecosystems, hard to monitor. Traditional power, internet often non-existent. LoRa's range, low power. It's perfect for those situations.
So what kind of security conservation work is it being used for?
Poaching, that's a big one. LoRa-enabled trackers on endangered animals. Rangers know where they are, can patrol better, helps prevent illegal hunting.
Makes sense.
Remote surveillance too. Those pristine sites, LoRa sensors, low impact, detect if someone's doing something they shouldn't.
Right.
Even securing the monitoring equipment itself, like weather stations, water sensors, LoRa plays a role there.
Examples of this actually working.
Plenty. Smart parks, again, they're doing amazing work, tracking species, huge poaching reductions. GAO Tech, they offer solutions for tracking wildlife, habitats, even fire detection.
Wow.
Tektelic, they focus on structural monitoring, keeping that environmental infrastructure safe. REC Wireless, they highlight smart parks as well, using their tech. Even universities like WUR, they've shown how accurate LoRa is at catching poachers. It's really making a difference out there.
LoRa, so many uses, but bottom line, does it make financial sense? What kind of return on investment are we seeing?
The ROI, it's looking really good for LoRa security. Several reasons, all contribute to lower overall costs.
Let's break that down. Where are those savings coming from?
First, lower infrastructure cost. LoRa covers so much area, you need fewer gateways, less hardware, less installation.
Okay.
Then maintenance. The long battery life, years, that's way less replacing batteries, especially in remote locations. Third, LoRa can use those license-free frequencies. No recurring fees like cellular, even public LoRa networks. The fees are very competitive. And finally, scalability. One gateway, many devices. Cost-effective when you're deploying on a large scale.
So you save upfront and over time. But the benefits themselves, how do you measure the return?
Benefits are quantifiable too. Theft reduction, huge one. Livestock, equipment, cargo, even home stuff. Directly impacts the bottom line. Preventing breaches, that's another. Avoid the cost of data loss, downtime, reputation damage. Efficiency gains too. Real-time monitoring. You allocate resources better, faster decisions. And incident response, it's faster. Something happens, LoRa detects it early, you intervene quicker, less damage, less cost.
And we have some early numbers, even though it's only 2025.
Full 2025 data is still coming in, but we have indicators. Utility company in Indonesia, big cost savings with LoRa smart meters. Studies show asset tracking with LoRa is cheaper than cellular.
Interesting.
Look at total cost of ownership, TCO, all the expenses over time. It confirms LoRa's cost effectiveness. And managed LoRaWAN, that can reduce overhead further. They handle the network, the security.
We've got that summary, different applications.
We do. Estimated ROI. Smart homes, setup costs vary, but operating costs are low. Fewer burglaries, faster response, that often translates to a high ROI.
Okay.
Agriculture, moderate initial investment, but low running costs. Reduced theft, crop protection, also pointing towards high ROI.
Makes sense.
Businesses, investment depends on scale, but operating costs are low again.
Yeah.
Less theft, no data breaches, moderate to high ROI there. Smart cities, higher upfront cost, large-scale deployments, moderate operating costs, but safer public spaces, less vandalism, moderate ROI.
Interesting.
And industrial settings, moderate to high investment initially, but low running costs. Theft reduction, less downtime, safer workplaces, all contribute to high estimated ROI.
So, yeah, financially, LoRa for security, it's looking pretty good across the board.
Okay, so good stuff. But what about the challenges? And what's next? LoRa's future in security.
Right. LoRa has advantages, but challenges exist. Security vulnerabilities, that's one. At the radio level itself. Eavesdropping, replaying messages, jamming, interception attempts.
So even with LoRaWAN security, there are still things to worry about.
Yeah. You got to do right. That AES 128 encryption, the OTAA secure device joining, those frame counters, and manage those encryption keys securely. Really important.
It's not just plug and play. You got to be smart about it. Exactly. Then there's the shared airwaves issue. Unlicensed bands. There can be interference. Other devices using the same frequencies.
Right.
LoRa's chirp spread spectrum helps. It's resilient. But planning your network, managing the channels, that minimizes the risk.
Makes sense. And the low data speeds, we talked about that. Does that hold it back in certain security applications?
Definitely. Real-time video, anything needing lots of data fast, LoRa's not the best for that. Other tech with more bandwidth would be better suited there.
Right. AI is getting bigger in security. Any specific challenges when you combine AI and LoRa?
As AI gets more integrated with LoRa, things to watch out for. Attacks specifically targeting the AI components.
Oh, interesting.
And then AI analyzing LoRa data, surveillance, for example, that raises privacy concerns. Following the laws, the ethical guidelines, anonymizing data, minimizing what you collect. These are crucial.
So it's not just about securing the network, it's about using the data responsibly as well. Looking ahead now, future trends, LoRa and security, what can we expect?
Future's bright. Lots happening. Stronger security protocols, definitely. The LoRa Alliance is on it. AES 256 encryption is being considered. Multi-factor authentication for devices. Secure hardware elements.
Okay.
AI integration, that's only going to grow. AI, machine learning, analyzing LoRa data, proactive threat detection, spotting anomalies.
Makes sense.
We'll see LoRa working with other tech, 5G, cellular, even satellite. Hybrid systems, better performance, broader coverage. The devices themselves, smaller, more efficient, doing more with less. LoRa coverage, both public and private, expanding globally, in Australia too.
Wow.
Non-terrestrial networks, NTN, that's LoRa to satellite. Security in even more remote places, places we couldn't reach before. And overall sustainability focus, energy efficiency, both devices and networks.
LoRa, it's not standing still, that's for sure.
Not at all. It's evolving, adapting, the innovation's constant. So LoRa's security, it'll stay relevant, powerful for a long time.
This has been a deep dive indeed. Real-world security, LoRa's impact. To wrap up, what's the one thing listeners should take away?
LoRa, it's here, it's working. It's a major force in security now in 2025. Long range, low power, the security LoRaWAN, cost effectiveness, all this has enabled real solutions across so many different areas.
From our homes to farms, businesses, cities, industrial sites, we've seen it all.
And the benefits are tangible. Less theft, better incident response, cost savings compared to traditional methods. And with AI, with 5G, LoRa's role in security is only going to get bigger.
We talked about the challenges, the radio vulnerabilities, the privacy considerations, but it seems those are being addressed, leading to even more robust and intelligent LoRa security applications.
Right. LoRa is a key part of the security landscape now. It gives us the tools to protect this increasingly interconnected world we live in.
So thinking about that, about how versatile LoRa is, how it's merging with all these other cutting-edge technologies, one final thought for our listeners. Beyond what we've discussed today, what other unexpected areas might benefit from LoRa from a security perspective? Think outside the box. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.